Is the USA about to have President Kamala Harris?
Talk of the town in Washington. Right now, she is the #1 alternative to replace President Joe Biden if he does choose to bow out of the 2024 presidential race, according to new polls.
Now, looking at the betting odds for U.S. president, looking at this graph here, Donald Trump is the favorite, but that spot on the screen there is the spot where the debate happened. Look at the difference between that debate. Joe Biden went from close to 40% betting odds to now at around 13%, and Kamala Harris, the current vice president, is actually represented there by the light blue line, has passed him. He's currently in second place, according to betting odds, and sitting at 15%. And I think you can actually get a lot of information from betting markets. It's people putting their money where their mouth is. It's not just a talking head on television giving a take in order to try to get ratings. Now that some attention is shifting to Kamala Harris as a potential replacement to Joe Biden following his, let's say, less than ideal debate performance last week, some prominent Democrats are starting to publicly voice their support for Kamala.
You came out after you got out of the race in 2020, the first candidate to support Joe Biden. You say he's been great for the country. He's been great for working class people in towns like the one you come from, in districts like the one you represented in Ohio. So why do you think at this point the president needs to get out of the race?
Well, I watched the debate, Willie.
So as more Democrats come out and publicly start to support the idea of Kamala Harris replacing Joe Biden as the 2024 nominee for president, it makes sense at least to switch to Kamala Harris in one significant way, and that is the simplicity of the funds that Biden has already raised. So I'm far from an expert on this, but looking at this article here from Meg Kinnard on Associated Press, saying the money that they already have on hand, which apparently is 91 million cash, could Harris take over the Biden-Harris campaign cash? Yes, although there's some caveats. Since their campaign account was registered with the FEC in the name of both candidates, Harris could use those funds for her own presidential effort if Biden were to drop out, which that sounds a lot more simple than if it were to go to another candidate. Like a lot of names, as an example, Gavin Newsom, or I know like Gretchen Whitmer, Michelle Obama, to name a few. There's some other names that have been floated a little bit, Hillary Clinton even. What happens to the funds if neither Biden nor Harris is the nominee? According to Gross, their campaign would have to give all the money back, sort of. It's a little bit unclear at least, but it's certainly less of a direct path. By the way, Barack Obama actually tweeted out a link to joebiden.com just following that debate. So those funds, it would be a little bit of a more difficult process to transfer those to like Gretchen Whitmer or Gavin Newsom or someone like that. So I think that's one point in Kamala Harris's favor, the ease of transferring that 91 million they have in cash, according to that AP article, just from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris, again, if Joe Biden does drop out of the race. Now, if the consensus of the Democratic Party was that Kamala Harris was a much worse candidate than the other options, I don't think they would necessarily care. I mean, maybe they'd care about the 91 million, but they'd be willing to kind of part ways with it or put into a super PAC, whatever they need to do, just based on the fact that the U.S. presidency is such massive stakes. And surely there'll be a bunch more fundraising on both the Republican and the Democratic side between now and Election Day. But the other thing I think working in Kamala Harris's favor that many people have brought up, perhaps, I don't know if cynically is the right word, but at least as a political talking point, people on the right wing, like Vivek Ramaswamy, are saying that the Democrats, because they focused so much on identity politics throughout the last 10 years, it'd be very difficult to replace the potential first black female president, Kamala Harris, if she does run and does win. It'd be very difficult to pass her for someone like Gavin Newsom, a white dude.
And the reality is, I think there's only two viable choices, really, if you think about it. The Democratic Party is wedded to identity politics, which leaves Kamala Harris or Michelle Obama. That's where I predict this plot ends.
Now, despite the fact that Kamala Harris is the favorite now, according to the U.S. betting markets, to replace Joe Biden if he does drop out, not every Democrat, or at least every Democrat in the media, is picking Kamala Harris #1. Here's a quote here from Bill Maher. My pick would be Gavin Newsom. Watching him make the case against Mr. Trump in the pre-debate interviews and defend Mr. Biden post-debate reminded me, this guy is good at this. Now, I would tend to agree more with the U.S. betting markets that the choice at this point seems likely it's going to be Kamala Harris for the reasons I mentioned before. It sounds like also, too, former President Donald Trump has become aware of this, the noise around the potential of Biden dropping out and the replacement being Kamala Harris, as he was filmed. I don't know if it's according to his knowledge, but Donald Trump did later post this on his Truth Social account, this 40-second video of him sitting in his golf cart with his son, Barron Trump, and had some choice words for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
What did I do with the debate the other night?
Oh, amazing.
He kicked that old broken down pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy. He just quit, you know. He's quitting the race.
Is that right?
Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic.
It's so amazing.
It's just so fucking bad. So,
I just can't imagine.
but can you imagine that guy with dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man, a very tough guy. And they see him, they probably he can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Just keep knocking him out, right?
So based on the short video there of Donald Trump in his golf cart talking about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, he's aware of this and even a little bit already campaigning against Kamala Harris because, as I mentioned, he did release this onto this video onto his Truth Social account. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. You think Joe Biden will, number one, drop out? You think Kamala Harris will be his replacement? Or you think it'll be someone else, again, like Whitmer or Newsom or someone else? Either way, thanks for watching this video. Have a good day.